Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Jason's off tonight. Turning now to local headlines. The Oshkosh School Board approving a new budget reduction plan tonight, addressing a projected $5.5 million deficit for the 2026-27 school year. New at 10, Drew Best attended tonight's meeting. He's live in the Fox Valley newsroom with the details. Drew.
Elise, this vote narrowly passed 4-3 after several proposed amendments and several rounds of discussion. The school board making the difficult decision to cut over 40 positions district-wide to balance their budget. And that's not counting the undetermined amount of secondary staffing positions, which we will not know the expected total, or we won't know the official total until the end of April. The board largely agreed this proposal did feel better than the district's last recommendation, thanking the public for aiding in their changes. Some positions up for elimination were either retained or restructured in the revisions, but many others did not survive the process. While this resolves financial shortcomings for next school year, it won't be long before this discussion comes back. The district currently projecting another $2 million budget deficit for the 2027-28 school year.
We'll be better next year, again, but that better doesn't mean we won't have reductions because we're in a structural issue across the state of Wisconsin. So it's going to be difficult work, but certainly, respect all board members' opinions, and we need to move forward collectively for the sake of, our students in Oshkosh.
The board spent part of their discussion talking about accountability. I asked Superintendent Davis what that looks like for him and the district. He says it looks like clarity, and he wants to do his part in improving with the school board as they move forward. A list of all the positions being eliminated can be found on our website, wbay.com/links. Elise?